Sorry, my camera cut out. Because my computer is being fucking stupid. Okay. What was I saying? I was talking about Jose Aldo losing the fight. I thought he won. And I said I didn't want to trash Amy and Zahabi. Yeah, okay. I don't want to trash Amy and Zahabi. And I was talking about, Aldo's kick was fucking flush. And, he expended all of his energy trying to finish Zahabi, and he put on a lot of damage on Zahabi. Let's not ignore that damage. Round 3 was very, very close because that happened, and then with 3.5 minutes left, Aldo was done. And he visibly gave up, and I think that's the reason the judges gave it to Zahabi, which is fair, because you can tell he was done. But compared to the damage, he did put a lot of damage on Aldo at the end of that third round, though. It was really close. Zahabi put on a decent performance, and he's not bad. But it was really close. Now here's what I'll say about Aldo. Aldo did look regressed. He did look like he had lost it a little bit in terms of just his, and that's what he said, in his post-fight interview. He said he felt like he lost it a little bit, which I kind of agreed. He looked like he was he was thinking too much, which he doesn't generally do, and that was a big reason. And yeah, I just think Zahabi, it was close, very, very close. I'm probably coping, but I wanted Aldo to win, and I'm still mad at the UFC for what they did to Jose Aldo. Losing to Merab, defending all of his takedowns, and with the way that win is aged, and the UFC brings Jose Aldo back into the UFC. At first just to save a card in Brazil, but then Aldo became, he went, people were hoping he'd go on one last run. And he beat Jonathan Martinez handedly, a ranked bantamweight coming off wins. And I'm like, okay, so they're going to give him, they'll rank him, he'll be top 10, and he'll fight the number 4, 5, 6, or 3 guy next. The fact that they gave him Mario Bautista in his next fight is vile, disgusting treatment, just pathetic, unreal. Unreal. If you would have given him Dominic Cruz, which it would have been lower in the rankings, fans would have been more happy, because then we get that legendary fight that we've been wanting. But you gave him Mario Bautista, and then you bring him back and you give him Amy and Zahabi. What is he doing in the matchups with these guys? Why are we building up a 37-year-old Amy and Zahabi? Why? Why are we trying to build up this guy's star name by beating Jose Aldo when he's 37? His next loss is going to be the end of his run. This is his only chance. We shouldn't be building up this guy. He's not making it to the top. You should know this. Zahabi does not beat any of the top 7 bantamweights. If he fights Figueiredo next, well, Figueiredo might be done in terms of just his current state and his age and, damage and all that. But besides Figgy, Rob Font beats him, Cheeto beats him, Bautista beats him, Umar, Yan, O'Malley, Merab, obviously. I think Marcus McGee beats Amy and Zahabi. Yeah. I think there's a lot of guys that beat Amy and Zahabi. Maybe him versus Montel Jackson rather than Montel Jackson, Kyler Phillips. Maybe that's still the fight to do. And then do Zahabi versus, we'll see. Maybe the loser of Vera and Bautista. But I think he loses that fight. So I don't understand what the UFC's doing in terms of their matchmaking with Jose Aldo. But he's retired now, and I cried, so it's okay. I don't have to think about it anymore, unfortunately. Valentina Shevchenko versus Madame Fiorot. Dull fight. Not fun to watch, and ruined the course of the event. The main card really wasn't great. to be brutally honest. The prelims were a lot of what this card shined on, and the main event, obviously. But yeah, the co-main was really dull and sad to sit through, and I really didn't enjoy a lot of it. And Fiora looked good in there. I felt like she could have won that fight. Not like in terms of what she did, but I feel like she could have if she had just. I feel like she could have worked harder and done more. But I'm a YouTuber. Not really. I'm not even a fucking YouTuber. I'm a college student who's recording this so that 10 people can watch it. But I felt like Fiora could have figured some more things out. And Shevchenko, she doesn't have to, she doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. And Shevchenko showed that. And she showed that she can outdo you. All she has to do is a little more than you. She dropped Fiora bad in that one moment, but besides that, the fight was pretty dull. Fiora was trying to get some, easy judging off of control time against the cage. Not gonna happen, little bro, because your name is Minan Fiora. It's not Mian Fiora Tigev, and you don't have a beard that looks like you touch children. So you're not gonna win fights by getting control time in the cage. Yeah, that's all I've got to say about that one. Let's talk about the main event. Oh, yeah! First off, before I glaze JDM and slobber all over it, I want to give a statement and an apology to Bilal Muhammad. Okay? I apologize, Bilal Muhammad. I made the Dark Ages of Championship MMA video. I thought it was a pretty good video. You should go back and watch that one. And I put Bilal in the middle of the thumbnail because I thought he was the worst of it. And you know what? He was at that time. But you know what? He showed up and he wanted to make it entertaining. You could tell that he had kind of been annoyed, and he said, I'm gonna show him the meaning of Canelo hands. But I wanna say thank you to Bilal Muhammad because keeping, trying to be entertaining, when you can win the fight doing other things is, it's a decision. And he made that decision. Now, the take I don't want to hear is that, man, Bilal was so close. Like, all he had to do was shoot takedowns. I believe Bilal shot 9 takedowns. And landed pretty much none of them. Like, JDM would kind of fall and slip, but a lot of them weren't real, like, oh, what a shot by Bilal. Like, Bilal had good level changes here and there, but JDM had fantastic takedown defense. Best it's ever looked compared to the Gilbert Burns fight. Gilbert, I think this is the thing. JDM going into this fight, again, it's a title fight. He's going to prepare more for it. I think with JDM, with the Gilbert Burns fight, Gilbert Burns is much more BJJ based, while Bilal, focuses purely on single and double legs. Burns will implement trips. He'll implement sneaky little picks and get you down. And even if it's not a super impactful takedown, he gets you down because of his slick little things that he does with his, BJJ techniques. And those are much different in terms of a Bilal takedown or a Merab takedown. Bilal really put on the performance of a marauder in this fight. Not really. He really didn't. But he tried to grapple. Like, this take that I saw from Kamaru Usman to talking about how, like, Bilal could have just shot takedowns. Like, he did. And JDM stuffed them. And he showed off his anti-grappling and beat the brakes off Bilal. And this fight was fun to watch a lot because Bilal was getting his fucking face battered. Now, Bilal had success. He had his moments. 3-2 is ridiculous, okay? If Bilal had laid on JDM those last 2.5 minutes, he would have been deemed champion. 2 judges had it 2-2 going into the 4th. Unreal. to be honest. Bilal did. JDM very clearly won the first 3 rounds. Like, there is no argument. I think one of the judges had round 1 to Bilal. Like, what are you watching? Did you watch round 1? Round 1, JDM was piecing him up the entire time. And it was throughout the course of the whole fight. When I watched it live, I felt, oh, JDM 5-0, he fucking beat the shit out of Bilal. Which I picked JDM, and if I made a predictions video, which I didn't, so I'm not going to say, oh, I would have had him by decision. No, I had JDM by second round KO. I thought it was going to be a body shot, then an uppercut, and Bilal was going to get crumpled to the canvas, and he was going to quit. It wasn't going to be anything after failing takedowns. But no, Bilal kept it on the feet the entire first round. And I was like, wow, he's actually going to strike with JDM. And he had his moments, man. But JDM, I think, was a reason Bilal had more success than I think people would have thought he did on the feet is because, listen, Bilal's a good striker. He's not a bad striker at all. Okay? He got to the top for a reason. And he put on good performance against Leon. Now, JDM is very okay with letting Bilal hit him. Okay? Let's be real here. I don't think JDM's going to be super scared of Bilal's punches. And so if JDM's going to take those punches, I mean, JDM took 155 total strikes in this fight, and the UFC app says 132 significant strikes. Did you see his face at the end of the fight? He had a black eye. That was pretty much it. Not much else. Well, Bilal, I'm sure you saw the photo. Lip, Robbie Lawler style, completely split open. Huge cut underneath his eye. Nose was busted up. Blood everywhere. I mean, Bilal was beat up, man. He got brutalized in this fight. But he didn't put on, like, the worst performance ever. He went out there. He landed right hands on JDM. He landed occasional combinations. He missed a lot of his combinations, and that's where JDM beat him in the combinations where JDM would throw 4, 5, 6, 7 punches in chain and would get 5 of them landed on Bilal's fucking noggin, and Bilal, you could tell, did not like it. And JDM had much more sting on his shots, as we knew he would. Holy shit. Fucking lawnmower outside, bro. I'm trying to think what else happened in this fight. Body kicks were landed really well from Bilal. Bilal was really doing a good job. Right hand body kick on the outside. It was kind of on like the weak side of JDM when he was leaning one way. He'd get him. And occasionally JDM would go down and block it with his forearm. But a lot of the times he was just kind of getting kicked in the body. And you could tell some of those had impact. And Bilal was landing good high kicks too. He was doing really good. In terms of what people expected for him on the feet. But now, let's get into the JDM Glaze session. Alright, I'm not going to make this too long, because I've gone on long enough. But I want to say, Della Maddalena is going to beat Islam Makhachev. He's going to do it. He will get revenge for Volk. I believe. Now, this might age really fucking poorly. Okay, but I'm going to point back to this video when that fight happens, and I'm going to stand with JDM, and if that fight happens and goes my way, I'm going to tell you about it. Because I am one of those guys who trusts in JDM and believes that he can beat Islam Makhachev. Now, he even said this is a nice little training fight for Islam, which is funny that he said that. Bilal is probably weighing a little more than Islam right now. Bilal's the heavier guy by at least a little bit. They're similar heights, and Bilal probably weighs an extra 5 pounds, is my guess. Islam might bulk up, and if he does, JDM might have to bulk up a little bit too going into this fight. But JDM will be slightly bigger than Islam. Islam's not used to that. And I don't think Islam's going to just try and completely destroy JDM with his grappling. I think he's going to want to implement striking, as he usually does. Islam is fantastic. And he definitely, I'm a huge Islam fan. But I'm a bigger JDM fan. And I think JDM's boxing could really pose some issues to Islam. And now Ilya, I think, would beat Islam as well. Those are literally the only two people I have right now beating Islam in the UFC in terms of between 145 and 170. I think the only guy who can beat Islam right now is are those three, or are those. I'll include Arman. I think Arman would put up a good fight. But I don't think Arman would win. I'd pick Islam, but I think he could win. But I think that JDM and Ilya would both beat Islam. They both pose similar threats with their boxing. JDM's takedown defense looked fantastic against Bilal. And if he can continue to do that, Islam isn't going to be this guy who's going to pressure you on the feet. JDM will control the pace. If he's going to control the pace on Bilal the way he did in the striking, Bilal's the guy who's going to pressure you. JDM controlled that pace of the entire fight. If Islam, for most of the fight, round 4, I thought Bilal won. But JDM's going to do that to Islam. JDM's going to be controlling the pace of the fight. And when JDM controls the pace of the fight, he lands on you. He lands on you. And I think he's going to do a number on Islam in terms of damage. Now, Islam, I think his best shot is to get him down and submit him. Because Islam's submission game is arguably the best in the UFC. But I really do think that JDM has the takedown defense and has the striking ability to beat Islam Makhachev, not just by finish, but I think he could beat him across 5 rounds. If you can fucking decision the decisionator, you can decision anybody. Anybody. Whether it's Islam Makhachev or whether it's fucking some bum at the bottom of the welterweight division. I think JDM has a shot against Islam Makhachev. I'm going to ride with my boy in that fight. And I think he can get it done. JDM is a legit welterweight champion. And obviously, I have mixed emotions. I do wish that Ilya Topuria versus Islam Makhachev was happening. I really do. And Islam versus Charles, or Ilya versus Charles, is still going to be a great fight. It better be for the vacant belt, okay? Like, this cannot be for an interim belt, dude. Because Islam, you're not going to fight quick enough to validate this. If we get Charles versus Ilya, International Fight Week, Islam, you need to get in there by August, okay? They need to move that fucking Perth fight night to a pay-per-view. They just need to do it. They need to do it. Give us 2 pay-per-views in August. Do New Orleans, do Chicago, and do Perth. And then do Mexico, Abu Dhabi, fuck Utah, MSG, Vegas. I could make a video predicting all of the cards at the end of the year. I think that Perth fight night should move to a pay-per-view main event. JDM Islam, main event. Volk versus Evloev, co-main event. Book it in August, late August. Do mid-August or early August, Chicago. Or maybe put it for early September. You know, like, Perth needs to have a pay-per-view. I don't care if Australia just got one. They deserve one with these 2 guys as champ. And this fight should happen in Perth. I'm excited, man. JDM, and that's the only way this lightweight division can get moving. If we're going to wait till fucking Abu Dhabi to get this JDM Islam fight going, if we wait until then, Islam's not going to, if Islam moves back down to 155 to defend against the interim champion, Islam isn't going to fight until May, at the earliest. He's not going to fight before Ramadan after Abu Dhabi. He's not going to fight in the middle of Ramadan. May, at the earliest, is where we'd get an Islam versus interim champion fight. Unless he fights in Perth in August or September. So, your choice, Islam. You're either getting stripped, or you got to fight in August and then January. Or August and then December. Like, you got to be more active if you're going to move up and down and defend, or, go up for 170 and then come back down and defend. Only chance. Okay. I'm done. Awesome win from Jack Della Maddalena. Really happy with the result. And, hey, man, we don't get Islam versus Ilya. We get Ilya versus Charles. We get probably a more likely title reign from Ilya Topuria at 155, which think about how much fun that's going to be. And we get JDM versus Islam. Yeah, maybe not as much of a storyline behind it, but you got the Volk revenge storyline. Islam moving up, and the style. Think about the striking exchanges between these two. It's going to be fucking awesome. And if Ilya beats Charles, especially for the vacant belt, Ilya gets a title reign at 155. And it would probably have to fight Arman, and he's got to get through Arman. That's the fight. And then you got to look at Ilya, versus anybody else. So, Patty, there's a lot of cool things happening. And I'm really, really excited for the future of the UFC, especially once Dana White is gone, because that bitch-ass Baldy did not even show up to the press conference because he is quitting on us. He is quitting on us. And it's evident in terms of promotion and in terms of effort. The press conference was another example of it. Yeah. Also, one more note. I don't know how the fuck Bilal did not get dropped. I mean, Bilal's got a granite chin, man. He can move up to 85 and have success. I don't know how he didn't get dropped by any one of those punches by JDM, man. And JDM hurt him bad at the end of the 5th. All right. That's it for me. Thank you all for watching. I don't know. I'll record soon. Yeah, I'm going to try and get some other videos going. Apex Fight Night this week. Morales versus Burns and Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato. Co-main event. Yeah, I guess I'll do a predictions video for that. But not the pay-per-view. Yeah. Alright, that'll be it for me, guys. Appreciate it. Bye. Also, wait, one more thing. If you're still watching, check out Barn Burner MMA. YouTube channel. Great guy. Uploads good videos. Great on Instagram as well. I like their little Barn Burner Gazette that they do. It's cool. Check them out. They're on the up. Cool. Yeah, good content. Alright, check them out. Bye, guys.